Yo, yo, family, familia, JB in the place. What's up? What's good? Sending big love, big hugs, big cosmic hugs directly to your doorstep. I wanted to read a quote from Peter Brown today that hit me really hard. I might read a bit more of the commentary I wrote about it too, and then I want to riff on it a little bit. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Let's get into it. This quote relates to um, enlightenment, God realization. There's Peter Brown, amazing, amazing man. He passed on from this earthly realm a couple years ago. God rest his soul. Great teacher of mine. Um, so yeah, I wrote this article called Peter Brown on being a Schmo and being God simultaneously. And here's the main quote from Peter. As nearly as I can tell, I am a realized being. I am the real thing. And yet, I'm a jerk. I'm a semi-functional human being with a ragged, poorly integrated personality and obsessions and lusts. And, I'm just a schmo. And yet, I'm God. So go figure. But that's the good news. To find that you're God, you don't need to not be a schmo, or we'd all be screwed. I mean, that's the fallacy of simplistic spirituality. I have to correct my schmoness. I have to somehow solve the dilemma of my pathetic failings. But fortunately, that's not the case. Fortunately, that's not the case. You already are God. You can't not be God. So it doesn't matter that you're a schmo. And God, what a delightful fact that is. What a potent fact that is. People are so intrinsically full of self-loathing that everyone entertains the basic assumption that anything that's good has to involve me somehow being better or being a better way than I am. And it turns out that that's just a fallacy. That's just not true. And thank God that's the case, or we'd all be screwed because you can't ever not be yourself. Boom, boom, bang, 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 bang. So that's an amazing quote from Peter. And I want to read a bit of my commentary here. So, if I were to distill Peter's message as simply as possible, what would I say? So, Peter was a great master of a certain form of advanced spirituality. His repeated message was basically notice right now that the only thing you ever experience is this right here, this timeless flash of mysterious radiant presence here and now. Notice that you do not know what this flash is. Stay with that non-knowingness whenever you feel like it. Be loose with it, be playful. As you engage this yoga of radiant presence, it changes you and liberates you in profound ways. Engaging Peter's yoga essentially opens up whole new ways or modes of being with reality, beholding reality, dancing with reality. Reality is then re-enchanted, revealed as an ever-fresh flavorfulness, a wholeness and finality that is already always complete. Its essence does not change. You gradually learn to sort of melt into and rest as this changeless presence or essence. The inherent flavor of this presence essence is one of superpersonal love, grace, peace, flow, freedom, artistry, innocence, omnipresence, transfinitude, beyond what is finite, supreme intelligence. This is why it is appropriate to call reality God or Goddess, or to employ any of our most lofty, evocative superlatives, because even these loftiest descriptors do not come close to the majesty. Yet paradoxically, all this grand language can also be misleading, because people get the idea they're looking for some extraordinary mystical fireworks or flashbang grenades, when really, as Peter was a master of pointing out, all that is ever being referred to is your own immediate experience, your own immediate everyday experience. Sure, astounding mystical experiences might come and go sometimes. That can be fun. But the real juice is in noticing that this here now is always that miraculous, luminous, all-inclusive fullness. Totality now. This can be felt. This can be felt and known most intimately. You can feel and know yourself to be a non-separate emanation of Almighty God. And this can look as mundane as you biting into a tongue-moistening cheeseburger. The shortcut, as Peter was fond of pointing out, is to simply notice that you don't know what the cheeseburger is, and you don't know what you are, and you don't know what the restaurant is. In one sense, you know all of them utterly intimately, yet in another sense, they're all an absolutely bottomless mystery. Gonna repeat that part. The shortcut, as Peter was fond of pointing out, is to simply notice that you don't know what the cheeseburger is, and you don't know what you are, and you don't know what the restaurant is. You don't know what this room is. You don't know what the computer is. In one sense, sure, you know all of them utterly intimately, utterly. Yet in another sense, they're all an absolutely bottomless mystery. Absolutely bottomless mystery, a continuum of textural weirdness spontaneously exploding forth from nowhere with zero duration in a profound sense. Zero duration. Let yourself feel that. The past is nowhere to be found. Where is it? The future is nowhere to be found. Where is it? All that you ever actually experience is this now moment, which is not really a moment and is more like a unitary, eternal, ever morphing nowness. And when you simply pause and notice that fact, really just look at it, it rapidly starts working on you. It starts revealing itself to you. It shows you what it is, as Peter liked to say. Essentially, Peter found a wizardly hack, a way to short circuit our habituated reality tunnel. Well, really, he wielded a vast smorgasbord of hacks and tricks in a supremely entertaining way as a true trickster mage. Yet many of his tricks boil down to this. You just repeatedly encounter immediate experience as a living, impenetrable mystery. You just let yourself notice that you don't know what this moment is in any moment. You let your ordinary life be seen as the truly unsayable twinkling tapestry of strangeness that it is. And you just stare at that whenever you feel like it. You stare at the strangeness. You let yourself feel its multi-dimensional energetic buzzingness rippling through all these sense fields utterly full of this strange nectar. What is it? You're not trying to change or improve or achieve anything. You're just resensitizing yourself to the full contact, immersive bizarreness that life actually consists of. A lot like a return to infant mind. It's all just wow, 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 as Peter would say. And in this act of penetrative seeing, it's possible to basically puncture your habituated reality tunnel. In one fell swoop, you essentially guillotine your way through many layers of conditioning, just with the simple act of really looking squarely at unknown reality. In doing so, if you're lucky, if you're ripe, there may be a genuine opening, an opening that, quote, lets the light in, as Corriello once sang. The light that has always surrounded you, the light you are made of, the light of your very being, the light of God, the light that is, in my estimation, the only true source of healing and therefore mankind's only true hope of breaking the millennia-long curse of cyclical, idiotic violence that yet plagues our forlorn species. A great irony and paradox is that this light is quite literally always continuously staring us in the face. Literally all you are ever seeing is the light-filled face of God, the light-filled face of infinity, the light which transcends and includes both light and dark. All you're ever seeing is that. This is not a metaphor. This is as close as words can get to the literal truth, if I may be so humble as to suggest that we are all emanations of a unitary, superorganismic, infinite, lovingly intelligent energy being. All of life is that. Yet for the most part, mankind cannot presently see it, even though it's all we ever see, all we've ever known. It is truly miraculous how God is able to pull the wool over our eyes, his own eyes, to such an all-encompassing extent. The ancients called this Maya, the great illusion, a truly savage parlor trick. How are we not able to see the unified field of love that continuously stares us in the face? How's that possible? In short, we can't see it because we think we know what it is. We believe our thought-based stories about what it is, thereby blocking ourselves from seeing its true face or its truer face. And so it goes. If there were no forgetfulness, there would be no remembrance. If there were no cage, there would be no liberation. Thus the great wheel turns, thus the Ouroboros chases its dragon tail. And we dance on, playing our wild and wacky roles in the cosmic Leela. I suppose it's pretty epic to be on Earth during what appears to be the end of a dark age amidst the early stirrings of a planetary awakening. It's also heartbreakingly sad for me, though. Like sometimes I just want to shake our Neanderthal-like species by the shoulders and scream, "Wake the fuck up already! This is not difficult. Just fucking stop killing each other. It's not hard. Stop abusing kids. It's not hard. Are you really this fucking stupid?" Meanwhile, though, I go on eating factory farmed cheeseburger flavored cow flesh because my body seems to tell me to. Like Peter, I guess I'm a jerk and a schmo. I guess the karmic echoes stop when they stop. I guess the karmic echoes stop when they stop. I'm not one to be defeatist about it though, so I go on creating art, artifacts, and soul technologies encoded with God's love, if I'm lucky, in hopes of doing my part to pulse heart awakening signals into the ether. And I go on prayerfully surrendering to ongoing personal and collective healing, letting the light in deeper and deeper to every cell, every inner child, every layer of the body, every ancestor and descendant, every entity within the seemingly infinite inner ecology of my beingness. And it's wild how deep the rabbit hole goes. It just seems to keep on going. And I sense our destiny now in this moment. It comes through in a deep way. It's as if an enormous karmic wheel has been spinning in one direction. And even though many of us are awakening to the tragic violence of the way the wheel's been spinning, it keeps on spinning that way because it has a damn awful lot of momentum. It will require an immense shift in awareness for our species to get this wheel moving in another direction. Imagine 1 billion Sisyphus or Atlas-like figures shouldering boulders to try to budge the damn wheel a few inches in a new direction. It will be a monumental, collective act of love to do this. And I believe we are doing it. And it's humbling to be part of that. It's humbling to be part of that. Seems likely I'll keep on trying to become love all the days of my life, become the love that I am, and share that love for my daughter and myself and my wife and my family and friends and all beings. Because on one hand, yes, as Peter said, you can't ever not be yourself. You're always going to be what you are. And your essence, in a profound sense, is utterly unchanging, just is. Yet, we can bring forth more of that loving essence. We can become more transparent to God's love. It's not about self-improvement. It's about heartful devotion. It's about the willingness to serve, the willingness to open the Christ heart, the willingness to be stripped naked again and again and again, the willingness to walk each other home, the willingness to let divine fire burn what is less true, the willingness to bake the bread of love daily, the willingness to be engulfed in sacred inferno so as to help light the way for our grandchildren. This is what it's about, for me at least. You're free to decide what it's about for you. I love you, Jay. Here I am, Lord. Is it I, Lord? I have heard you calling in the night. I will go, Lord, if you lead me. I will hold your people in my heart. All right, family. So I hope you enjoyed that reading of a sizable portion of that article. I'll try to remember to link the article if you want to peruse the whole thing. It's on one of my Substacks, simplefreedom.substack.com. You can go find it there. I like how that piece turned out because I like how it starts with Peter Brown and it starts with this exploration of this now being the finish line, the sense in which this is it, this is God, you are God, it's all already God. You are simultaneously a human schmo like the rest of us, and you are God. And you don't have to stop being a schmo. You don't have to stop having human idiosyncrasies, quirks, eccentricities, shortcomings, and all the rest of it in order to notice that you are God right now and that this is weightless fullness right now. This is radiant, luminous fullness right now. I like that it starts there and then it ends at a place of devotion and service, which may seem like kind of a paradox in a way, because oftentimes messages that point to um, the unitary fullness, the finish line right here and now, often messages like that, they just stop there. Like, that's it. There's literally nothing to do. There's literally no one to be. This is it right now. Just notice that, and you'll notice that you're already living the great perfection, which in a profound and immaculate and incredibly liberating sense you are. And I highly recommend exploring and discovering the sense in which that's true, discovering the sense in which this is it. It's always Miller time. The grand accomplishment has already been accomplished. The divine resume already reads generated infinity from nothing, intelligently orchestrating infinity from nothing. This is this is the grand dance. This is the grand play of Shiva and Shakti. This is it. This is divinity. And yet, simultaneously, I at least am called to hold the paradox there. I'm called to deepen into that recognition that this is it and to just savor that, to, splash around in that butter beer, that positively fantabulous marmalade of suchness, nowness, isness, jizness, divine omni-ejaculatory thusness, suchness, overflowing effulgence of what the fuckness. You know, it's here, it's full, this empty fullness, utterly miraculous, the way that it is new in every moment. Past is nowhere to be found, future nowhere to be found. This moment, a never before seen divine artwork from the hand of immaculate, creative, loving intelligence. It's incredibly, incredibly liberating, incredibly fulfilling to discover that. It's like a level of fulfillment that goes beyond any kind of material, worldly fulfillment, any sum of money. There's billionaires out there that are miserable as fuck. All they do is think about how to not lose their money. They're just locked into fear. And there's homeless people out there who are tapped into ever available infinite abundance. And they're just like blissed out, just dripping in God nectar. So to me, there are few, if any, pursuits that are more worthwhile than discovering your infinite God nature here and now. And yet, I personally don't stop there. I don't stop there and say, and that's it. Just notice that. Notice that it's all perfection, and then fuck it, do whatever. Notice that doesn't matter what you do. Because a lot of teachers do say that, and that is something that Peter would often say, actually. Peter Brown, God bless his heart, he would say, things like fuck it is the main mantra, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you do. And that can be a very liberating perspective to play with. And it's a really potent way of pointing at something. Peter's words should always be seen as a technology that's trying to point at one particular thing, just trying to point at something that is always available, that is always there, that is always on, that is always shining, regardless of what you're doing, regardless of what state of turmoil the world seems to be in. He's pointing at an ever available, radiant fullness that you are. And, he's relentless in pointing at that. And and I love his pointers. I absolutely love his pointers. And at the same time, for me, it's important to hold both. It's important to hold the nothing matters and the everything matters. And yeah, when I look into my daughter's eyes, when I give her a hug, when my heart opens to that, I that's when I feel the everything matters. We're really here in a profound sense. We're on this earth. We're here for a reason. Our souls incarnated into this realm for a reason, near as I can tell, near as I can sense. And this realm is lost in a profound sense, in a deep state of violence and abusiveness and just karmically roundhouse kicking itself in the face. Our species is karmically roundhouse kicking itself in the face repeatedly. And so for me, I like that the piece ends on that note, ends with this kind of invitation into devotion, this invitation to, yes, by all means, realize your infinite God nature, celebrate that, feel that, bask in that wavy nectar, and then share it in whatever way is native to you. Sing the song only you can sing, dance the dance that only you can dance. Give it back in some ways. Like Mac Miller said, Yahweh put the world in my hands, I'm giving it back. It's You complete the cycle by giving it back. And even though Peter would say nothing matters, his actions suggested something different, right? His actions were those of a saintly figure. I mean, the man spent untold hours for zero pay whatsoever. He never even asked for any sort of payment, any sort of compensation for his teachings. He spent countless hours attempting to bring others into the awareness of radiant presence because he knew he had discovered an authentic spiritual treasure. He knew he had discovered authentically that, we've been born in a treasure chest. If we can just open our eyes and let the light in, let ourselves feel it, that is our liberation, individually and collectively. And so it's important to look at his actions and not just his words with respect to that. And so, yeah, you know, this is it now. Nothing to do, no one to be. Bask in the radiant fullness and notice that you are living in a war-torn realm. You are living in a realm where there are still millions of people dying from poverty, preventable disease, war, human trafficking. There's still mass abuse of children and all these things. And it's not about letting yourself get completely bogged down by these realities, but I don't recommend turning away from them. I don't recommend ignoring what's happening on this planet. I recommend letting it crack your heart open and courageously sourcing from within yourself the medicine that you are here to bring forth to help in alleviating what is happening in this realm, to help in alleviating the unnecessary suffering. Even if you can see that in a certain sense, that suffering may be a perfect kind of karmic echo, and that, we needed to go through this age of forgetfulness to eventually remember, and it's all part of this grand cosmic cycle and cosmic intelligence, which I deeply sense that it is. That doesn't mean that the cosmic intelligence is not also trying to whisper to you through your heart and tell you the role that it wants you to play in that cycle, the role that it wants you to play in seeding remembrance within this collective, seeding a reawakening to the divine love of the Christ heart, divine mercy, omnidirectional mercy, omnidirectional love. As far as I can tell, nothing less than that will break these generational curses and cycles of war and abuse and violence. Only learning to hold all of it in divine love can do that. And we have an opportunity to contribute to that. So, yeah. So I like that piece that I wrote. I felt like sharing a sizable portion of it with you. I hope you enjoyed it as well. And sending a lot of love, sending a lot of love. Peace, infinity. One love, namaste. Nothing to do but be you. Take good care, family. I love you.